We've got a pretty twisty episode ahead of you, and all it took was a simple favor. I'm Chad.
And I'm Matt.
You're listening to episode 43 of We Used to Talk About This at Work. All right, Matt, we are jumping back into action. Episode 43. We are slowly chewing on over to episode 50. And got a lot of good stuff planned for the listeners.
Yes, we got some things in the works that will make the listeners very happy if they participate.
Secrets.
All will be revealed soon.
All right. So this week we have a guest that is also a podcast host. I was actually on her podcast last month, but the episode won't actually drop until next month. So this is a nice little in-between period here. We would like to introduce the audience to Frances from the Happy Fangirl Podcast.
Well, thank you for having me on your podcast, Chad and Matt. And I am very excited to be here. I had a really good time talking to you, Chad, on last month. And I was on my podcast, Happy Fangirl, in which I've been covering a lot of Brendan Fraser movies, but I'm moving off of that. And I chat with other people about all sorts of fandoms. We're going to be going into Titanic. We talk horror movies, especially campy horror movies, which Chad got a little taste of. And
boy, did I.
Yes, you did. A deep dive into. And it's a new experience for me. I've been doing it for a few months, maybe almost 5 months now, and it's a new thing, and I just truly enjoy it. So thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Thank you for having me on yours. So we met on Reddit. You asked if anybody wanted to do a movie review, and I was like, yeah, that's in my wheelhouse. And so we ended up talking about Reanimator on your podcast, and like the night before we were going to record, you sent me an email like, hey, can you write out a synopsis of what happened in this movie? And I was like, excuse me, what? I have homework. I was trying to be Matt and just come in, watch a movie, tell a couple of jokes and sign off and let you do all the work. But no, this lady had me working.
I got to say, that was a bit of a misstep. That was me trying out to be more thorough. However, once we started discussing it, and also there's some of the scenes in that movie are a little bit cringy and
it doesn't hold up well to the lens of 2022. Let's just say that.
I've got to say, I think your viewpoint of that movie, though, was much less favorable than my viewpoint of that movie. I would have to say.
That's correct. I did not like that movie.
You did not like it at all, but you're still okay with certain horror movies. You're okay with Hostel, right?
The overall ideal of Hostel, yes.
Yeah. Now, I think that what the difference between your take on this movie and my take can be explained by possibly generational differences. Okay. I think, I'm Gen X. Now, Chad, you're a millennial, right?
Correct.
Okay. Matt, are you a millennial too?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's because I grew up during the time of shock rock. I think it's Alice Cooper was a fixture in my house. The horror movies were a lot of stereotypes, but I think this movie, if you approach it as a completely ridiculous thing to watch that is just not to be taken seriously whatsoever, then I think you can enjoy the movie. Okay. Now, I still will hold that there is a cringe-inducing scene that I have actually went on to the Reanimator chat boards and I've asked, how do people feel about this scene? And I don't want to, I know this is a family broadcast, so I don't really want to get into
that was a joke. This is not a family show. Do not let your kids listen to this.
That was a joke.
I was just joking. Yeah.
But there's a certain scene in Reanimator that
fuck them kids,
just right. And so I asked people from
no,
the
tell no, Francis, this movie that you're defending, tell Matt what this scene is.
Okay, the scene is, there's a lot of like decapitation and things like that going on in this movie. Okay. This guy this evil doctor gets decapitated and he gets reanimated. Now his head gets reanimated and the corpse gets the headless corpse gets reanimated. Anyway, throughout the rest of the movie, it's like this headless corpse is like taking its head around and doing stuff, right? It's like, it's kind of, yeah.
It's so headless horseman type shit.
A headless horseman kind of shit, right? So what happens is that, anyway, he does something. It's kind of would you call it a rape?
You've overheard beating around the fucking bush, Francis.
Yeah. No.
So basically, he captures this young woman who is old enough to be his daughter. And his headless head is performing oral sex on her. Yeah.
See, now that's wrong. That's wrong. But the rest of the movie, hilarious. Okay. Now that part, if you just take that part away, the movie is just so ridiculous. And you can also negate that scene due to the fact that it is so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I need more information. So what led up to the scene that this headless body is giving oral sex to this woman? What led up to this? I need a little bit more information.
It's not the headless. It's not the, or is it? Is it the headless body that's doing? No, it's the head itself.
No, the head he's licking and like,
it's gross
all over her.
But they
body.
Don't show it. No, but they don't. Nothing happens.
They show her naked body.
They show her naked body, but nothing happens because Herbert West comes into the room and stops it before it happens. Maybe Matt can be the tiebreaker. I think Matt should watch this movie and see if he feels as badly about the movie as you do, Chad. Okay.
You know what,
now,
Francis?
Okay, hold on. I'm watching this clip right now.
Are you watching? Are you watching the clip?
I'm watching the clip.
Are you on a porn site?
Yeah, it is a poor site.
If you watch it on the airplane, like, people will complain because it's not a movie you can watch on the airplane. But the movie is hilarious overall. It's hilarious because the movie is so over the top and so crazy that it's laughable. It's laughable, and I liked it. I didn't like it as much as a Simple Favor, though, the movie that we're going to talk about today.
Spoilers, Francis. Spoilers.
Yeah, right.
This scene is still happening, Matt.
Yeah, because she's laying on the table. He just picks up her head. She's naked.
Yeah. Now the scene is over the top and it is too much. That scene is too much. If they snip that scene out of the movie is hilarious. It's hilarious, but you have to be in the right mood for that type of a movie. It's completely ridiculous, that movie. But it's funny. It's funny. But there is something wrong. There's all sorts of wrong with that scene. There's all sorts of wrong.
Oh wow, this head is licking her titties and stuff.
Yeah, see that is not right. Like that scene should have been removed from the movie. But
now I was going to, let me just fast. I was losing interest. Oh yeah. Well, okay. He was about to. All right, there we go. So he didn't actually lick downstairs. He licked everything up going down there. And then when he was about to put his head in,
then he gets stopped. Yeah, he gets stopped, right? Yeah. So, but it is wrong. It is definitely wrong. And by me saying I enjoy that movie, I'm not approving of that action that he's doing by saying I like that movie, right?
Well, but when did this movie come out?
1980 something.
Oh well, that was a different time. It was fine for that time.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Am I telling your listeners to go out and do that? No. Don't do that.
Don't decapitate your own head and then perform oral sex. Don't do that, audience.
But that movie, watch that, listeners, because that is a hilarious movie. I've got to say. Now, I am changing. You see, when I was talking to you, Chad, I was so embarrassed about that scene.
And now you're doubling down.
now I'm doubling down on it, but we got into like race relations. We talked about misogyny. What else did we talk about? We talked about veganism. Like it ended up being all these social issues.
I got invited on her show to talk about Reanimator, and this woman over here asking me about critical race theory and shit. I'm like, what is happening here?
So as somebody who's never seen the movie, how did the movie translate to misogyny, race, and everything else?
No, we just started talking about other shit.
Oh, I thought there was something in the movie that brought that out.
Well, obviously there is, that scene does have some misogyny in it, but the thing is that scene is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So anyway, but sometimes, I was a little bit embarrassed about enjoying that movie. Should I be embarrassed about enjoying a movie that's that crazy? I don't know.
No.
Do you ever feel embarrassed? Do you feel embarrassed about your music or your musical tastes, your movie tastes, your different tastes and things? You should not
be embarrassed for liking a movie that's crazy. You should be embarrassed for liking a movie that's bad, Francis.
Okay. Now you think this movie is bad, right? Now this is a classic. It's a classic.
To each their own, right?
And just to confirm, all the classics that Chad likes, I didn't put it on here, but later on we can discuss how Star Wars is trash.
Okay.
What is that poster in your background?
Well, that is for my podcast. That is Bedazzled, and that is a Brendan Fraser movie. I am going to be moving off of the Brendan Fraser. I do have a lot of Brendan Fraser art. See, I've got this signed Brendan Fraser here from The Mummy. I also have a signed one that is personalized, that for business inspiration from him looking for mummies. And it says, Franny, get dog and cleaning clients like I get mummies. But okay, but I need to get a new one made by him that says it's okay that you stopped cleaning because I'm trying to lower the cleaning in the business. Okay.
Or so anyway, get him to say something about your podcast.
Yeah. I should do that, right? Maybe he'll listen to it. Right. Who knows, right?
But the reason why I bring that up is because I love that movie, Bedazzled. When I was a kid, I used to watch that movie. There's two movies, Brendan Fraser movies always stick out, and it's not Mummy.
Yeah.
It's Bedazzled and Blast from the Past. Love that movie to death.
Never seen either one of those.
You never seen Blast from the Past? Oh my God.
That's the one where he's the caveman, right?
You should listen to the podcast episode we did on it.
He's not a caveman in that one?
No, the caveman movie was Encino Man.
Yeah.
But Blast from the Past is basically, this is back in like the 60s where, they thought Russia was going to do things, blah, blah, blah. So his father builds this bunker in their house. So then the way he did it, he locked it from for 30 years because, by then the radiation would be gone. So then he comes up and it's late 90s or whatever time frame. And his mind state is still from the 60s because he's been living with his parents in this bunk, and the bunker was not just a room. It was like he had a house. It was like running water. It was like a regular house, had a little patio in there and everything. And then he comes up to get more food and stuff, and then he sees it's the late 1990s, so you have grunge and all this other stuff. He's meeting these people, and then you meet Alicia Silverstone. And this movie it's
hilarious.
Yes.
And Christopher Walken and Sissy Spacek are in that movie, and they are wonderful as the parents.
Yes.
They are really funny. Christopher Walken is like a kooky conspiracy theorist. Yeah. So he is the one that kind of makes them all go down into this bomb shelter, and they're locked in there for many, many years.
And then his mom's an alcoholic. So Chad, I won't, I ain't gonna steer you wrong to some whack movie, but
okay.
I'll check definitely watch that. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen Bedazzled in a long time. So Bedazzled is he meets the devil and she gives him 3 wishes.
Well, a bunch of wishes. 7 wishes. And she always, the devil always fulfills the wishes in the letter, but not in the spirit of the way they're intended, right?
Oh, that's right, because he
becomes a drug lord. He becomes
he wanted to be rich and powerful. He wanted to be rich and powerful. So then, put this on your list too. This is great. I remember it now. So he wants to be rich and powerful. So then she makes him this drug lord. He has an accent, and he's like, I can speak Spanish and stuff. But then, he
almost gets killed.
Right.
He almost gets killed, right?
Yes.
And he becomes like a basketball player, but he has a really small penis. Like that's
yeah, that's
so he's
right.
like
that's
7 feet
All
tall.
right.
I'm
I'm gonna check those out.
Yeah.
Out.
It's hilarious.
And so, Francis.
Yes.
What made you want to start a podcast?
Well, I did. I rediscovered Brendan Fraser movies, and I did a video chat with Brendan Fraser. Ooh. You know how? Yes, I did. GalaxyCon, these convention sites, you can do video chats with the celebrity. It's kind of like Cameo sort of thing. And when I was going to do the video chat, I had a friend lined up. We were going to reenact this romantic scene in one of his movies. And we were going to have Brendan Fraser judge it and
George
tell
of the
us.
Jungle? Was it George of the Jungle?
No, it was Still Breathing, a very romantic movie.
Never heard of it.
Oh, it was so nice. I think it was 1997. Oh my God, it's my favorite movie of all time. So one of us was going to play Fletcher, who is trying to convince Roz not to leave. And then the other one was going to play Roz. And I mean, I had my bedroom all decked out. So it was like a Texas bedroom. Like I took the pug bedspread off and made it all Texas and everything. My friend bailed on me. So anyway, ended up doing the video chat. I did it at Walmart, actually, because I wanted to allow my friend who worked in the pharmacy there to talk to Brendan Fraser as well. So I started off in the subway and I asked him about his movie with Robert De Niro that he was working on. And I asked him about, he was working on one at the time with Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro. He's playing it was called Killers of the Flower Moon. And it's coming out. And it's about the murder of a lot of Native Americans. Okay. And then he plays the lawyer defending the guy who killed all these Native Americans. So I asked him a lot of questions about that. And then I was going to walk the phone over to the pharmacy counter at Walmart. Okay. So my friend could talk to Brendan Fraser. Anyway, all hell broke loose on that, the trip from the subway at Walmart to the pharmacy counter. And anyway, I've snipped that out of my video chat and that doesn't exist anymore. Okay. Some stuff went down. But when I was doing that, I really enjoyed researching his movies. I just really had a fun time doing that. And I was like, I really enjoy interviewing people, talking to people. And so basically it's my video chat with Brendan Fraser. That was the inspiration for the podcast. I was going to start a cleaning service expand my cleaning service so that I specialized in small apartments and things like that. And I was like, I don't like to clean. I like to talk. So, I don't want to be cleaning toilets as much as I have been. I want to be, because I used to work as a pharmacist, but I don't like pharmacy. So I like physical work. And so I wanted to have a business that expanded, did a lot of physical work. And I was like, I just don't want to do that. I want to talk. And so I started my podcast. Okay. That's a long answer.
There's nothing wrong with a long answer. So how has building listenership been? Podcaster to podcaster?
It's hard. It's hard because I've been spending so much time on the content and you have to advertise it. And asking people to listen to your podcast when they have no interest in movies is difficult. Like I have a family who has absolutely no interest in movies. My parents do not listen. My mother listened to the podcast one time and she said, I love your style. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I really love your style. And I have another sister that doesn't watch any movies at all. And I was able to get one sister onto the podcast. My brother, he downloads the podcast to help my numbers, but he does not listen to it. So he's like, I'm going to help you out because this is what my contribution to your podcast will be, but I won't listen to your podcast. So nobody that I know listens to it. And I understand because I have a friend who wrote a book and I didn't read his book. If you have a lot of people that have access to you, they could just call you. Your friends can just call you and talk to you. Why are they going to listen to your podcast? That's been my experience. Or it might be that I'm not very popular.
Oh no, it's like that too. Like my wife doesn't listen to the podcast. She does the same thing as your brother. She'll download it. my mother
She
listens to the
to every
podcast
episode
faithfully. So, but just like you said, maybe she listens to it because I'm in Japan and she doesn't have that contact with me where she can just call me at any time she wants. So this is the way of she can hear what I've been up to, listen to me weekly. But maybe if I was back in the States, maybe she wouldn't listen to the podcast.
Right, because she'd feel like you're closer to her.
Right.
So she wouldn't have to miss you as much.
Right.
Because you're right there. Yeah. So how about you guys? Like, do you guys look like popular dudes? Like you really do. You look suave looking, like sophisticated.
It's the glasses. It's the glasses.
Yeah, it's because we wear glasses. Yeah. I don't know. What did Sativa call me last week, Matt?
You're an aggressive talker, aggressive.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. Like, I don't fully agree with that. Like, I can talk some people into coming on that I know definitely do not listen to the show.
Okay.
Socially aggressive is what she said.
Oh yeah.
But other people, that fear is just so hard to get them to come on. And it's like, I can't even begin to put together an argument to listen to our show weekly.
Yeah. Is it also to do with the fact that they feel like, oh, I have to watch the movie and I have to know about the movie as well?
So that's partially why the format is the way it is. Like the movie is the very last thing. But for some movies, I've been like, just here's everything that happens in the movie. Go. I didn't do that for this movie. Like I just put the broad synopsis from IMDb because it's pretty twisty. But I don't know. Like I added that addition to try and like encourage people to listen, but they don't care. A lot of times people will just listen to episodes in which they've seen the movie.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, because just so they know what we're talking about, because if they haven't seen the movie, then it's going to be like, well, I mean, I don't know how much people listen to us because they like how we review or what we say to be like, oh, they like this movie, I should go check it out, versus they didn't like it, I'm not going to check it out. Or if it's just like you said, a movie that they've already seen, so they can be like, oh yeah, I agree with that, or I disagree with that.
Right.
Yeah. I've listened to quite a few of your episodes, and I've been doing it while I'm cleaning places.
Please let me know. You didn't start with episode 1, right?
I don't, you know what? I think at one point I went to episode 1, but I know the fact is that I have a lot of downloads from episode 1, but everybody's episode 1 sucks.
Yes.
Because you're just trying to figure out. And I know there's a lot of debate about whether or not you should just remove your episode 1, or if you should add a disclaimer, like, please people, this was episode number 1. Keep on listening. It gets better.
Right. I tell people all the time, they're like, oh, I'm about to start an episode. No, don't. Honestly, just go with our latest episode or something like that.
Right.
Don't start at the beginning. That's what was horrible.
Yeah, but people will do that. Now, I think, though, that people are getting more sophisticated as time goes on. And I think if you have any brains, you will know there's a progression. I would hope anyway.
Right.
You would hope.
I would hope, because we're not people with, like, I don't know if you guys have a producer or anything. But Chad, right? I mean, these are podcasts that people are doing. And I would say common knowledge is that people get better with time.
Yeah.
So so you have to be open. So like, if you're listening to podcasts, start off with the latest. And maybe after you've listened to a few of the latest ones, maybe check where they came from, like number 1, and see how they progress. But don't ever start off with episode number 1.
Right. That's, I think the last, Malcolm Gladwell has a podcast called Revisionist History. And I don't remember how I found it, but I've listened to the latest one. I'm like, okay, this is good. Then I went back and I listened to like the one before that. And I was like, okay, I like this. Okay, let me start from the beginning now and I can get all the information. But yeah, when I found it, I start with the latest ones.
Yeah. You know what I think, though, is that I think in that way, authenticity is important, because people want to be able to listen to somebody they can connect with. And sometimes some flaws help people connect with people. So you always want to be the best version of yourself. But sometimes if you try to be too produced, then you're not really authentic. And I think people can kind of sniff out authenticity, but that's just my philosophy. I don't know if that's completely true because I don't have a lot of listeners. So,
no, I agree with that. Like, I would kill myself, like, editing the early episodes, like, so much, trying to remove and all this shit. And it's like, no, like,
right.
No, you're going to get more natural. Like, I'll cut out like dead air just because like that's a waste of time. But, for the most part, I leave the content of the words there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been listening to a lot of podcasts that are very successful and they keep the ums and the ahs in there.
Yeah.
So.
Because it's supposed when I listen to podcasts, it's like, because you want to hear, it's supposed to be a conversation with people or information, and likes, that's part of normal conversation. Because like you said earlier about authenticity, it's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be a conversation with people. So you're going to have the ums and likes, and it just sounds more true.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's more real.
I don't know though. Everybody says be who you are, but what if some parts of you suck though? So then maybe don't be who you are. I mean,
some parts of everybody suck, right? No one's perfect.
Right. I guess the best version of yourself, right?
Yes.
So, Francis, what have you been up to this week? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I've been having a little bit of struggles. Now, they're not life-changing struggles, but I have a pug. Okay. Now, you guys got kids, right? You guys have kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, I've never really laid down the law or anything like this. I used to work as a pharmacist, and you have to enforce a lot of rules in pharmacy. But when I became a dog walker, house cleaner, no rules whatsoever. If the dog's owner says, I want you to train the dog this way and this way and that way, I always say yes, but I don't do anything that they say. I just let the dog do whatever they want. Right?
You sure you want to say that on air?
Yes, because I'm just going to put it out there. Okay. The doggy can do anything that the doggy wants. Okay. So I have my pug Earl, who used to be a customer of mine. He actually used to live at a nursing or a senior living place. And I have not had any rules for Earl, but Earl has gotten into the bad habit of coming into the living room quietly, lifting his leg on furniture. And I'm not a rules person, and I've just had to lay down the law with Earl, and I feel kind of guilty about that. So do you guys have that with your kids? You have to like put some rules out there and you feel kind of bad about it. That's how I feel with Earl.
Me, it's still wishy-washy because she's not even 2. So it's like she hears me, but she doesn't fully understand.
Yeah.
My son's just turned 11, so do I ever feel bad for laying down the law? Not on basic stuff like, clean up your room, take a shower, stuff like that. But there's times where the only time I feel bad is where like something that he's doing now, something is that I know I did as a kid.
Right.
So it's like, I know he's not going to like the punishment or talking or whatever I'm doing, but I know in the long run it's going to help him. He's going to learn from it.
Right.
But regular stuff, it's like, no, it's just, I don't feel bad. It's just, sure, I know he's not going to like it, but it's going to, once he learns from it, it's going to be better on for him in the future.
Well, that makes sense, right? There must be some times when you kind of chuckle at what he does naughty, but you have to say, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
right?
All the time. Because it's just like, kids do silly stuff all the time. And it's just like, when I see him do something, I just be like, don't do that. And if like my wife is with me, I'll be like, you see what he did over there? Like that,
yeah. Because you can see yourself in your kid, right?
Yeah.
But I feel bad with Earl though, because I've got him now in a crate. Because I'm like, Earl, I'm sorry, boy. Sorry, but you cannot have full range of the whole place now. Because I can't trust you and I can't be cleaning up after you every single day. So, but he was crying a little bit and I felt like a new mom, and I've never Like I've never had kids before, but I felt bad listening to him cry in his crate. But I was like, sorry, boy, you got to get used to it. You can't just go into the living room quietly. So I have a no tolerance policy now for peeing in the living room. And I just had to lay that law down.
I mean, you shouldn't be peeing in the house at all. So
that's right. No peeing in the house. So I did feel a little bad about that with Earl, but it'd probably be a lot worse if I had to lay down the law with kids. So it's a good thing that I don't have any kids. So
what else been going on this week?
Oh, well, let's see here. This movie, okay, from the trailer, I know we're not going to talk about the movie yet, but it made me think, when I was watching the trailer of that, it just made me think about how people who use certain accents have such a mystique about them. And it made me think about this lady that lives above me. Now, I won't use names or anything. She was really intriguing to me in terms of being like, you know how Stephanie in this movie was intrigued by Emily, right?
Right.
And this lady here, she had like such a strong New York accent. And I hadn't heard a lot of New York accents. And I was just like, I really want to be around this woman all the time. Right. And it just made me think about that. But I'm just feel very sad for her, though, because now she's estranged from everybody now, from her son, from everybody. And I feel really sad for her because when you're older, if you haven't cultivated very strong relationships, you can die alone. And right. I feel very sad for this lady because, I mean, I had to break it off because she was just so angry and mean to me by the end, because I think she's very, very bright, but also very mentally ill. And I saw her and I said, how are you doing? And she said, lousy. And I said, I'm sorry to hear that. And she said, have a lousy Christmas.
You should try drinking a martini with her.
That's right.
Maybe that would loosen her up.
Francis said she washed her hands of the whole situation, Matt.
Hey.
I had to.
Matt, what have you been up to, man?
I had a free time this weekend, so I caught up on the shows I've been missing or that I've heard about. And have you heard of Abbot Elementary?
So I've been hearing buzz about it online, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then when I asked you, were you good to go for the show this morning, you text me. It was like, I watched Abbott Elementary, and I was like, I was asking if you watched the movie this week, but okay. So I had a little free time before we recorded, and I watched the first 2 episodes.
And what'd you think?
I like it. It feels like a more modern Office.
Yeah, and they call that a mockumentary.
Yeah. Like the reason I say that specifically is because the principal is acting like Michael Scott.
I love this show. I think this is the best show on TV right now. I love everything. Like you said, it is like you get the documentary thing.
Tell the audience what this show's about.
Okay. Abbott Elementary is about a school in Philadelphia where there is a documentary crew filming it, i.e. The Office, because they're one of the poorest schools in the country. So now you have, were you familiar with Quinta Brunson before this?
I never heard of her until this. And then I was like, okay, she seems spunky. And then it was like created by, I was like, oh, you're not just an actor in this? Okay.
Well, she used to be on social media, and she used to be like she said the show, I forget what it's called, but one of the first things I seen it was she was in the movie theater, and the dude he was like, what do you want? It's like a skit, and she was like, I take the popcorn, I take the nachos, and she's like, he got money, and it was like this thing about like that. That's when I first found out about her, and then I also knew she was on that women sketch comedy show, like Black Ladies sketch show or something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Okay. So that's who I knew her. And then of course, you have Everybody Hates Chris, Tyler James Williams.
That's another reason I know about the show, because I follow him on social media.
Oh, okay. And Basically, it's just like the day in and day out, different situations that happens in the school, and you have those times where on The Office, Jim, like Jim looks at the camera, and when something crazy happens, but that's what Tyler Williams does, and like all the characters in this show, I fucking love. Everybody in there is fucking hilarious. The teacher, the principal.
Yes, she's hilarious. But the thing with the principal is like she is like overtly sexually harassing. Everybody hates Chris. And so he does these little looks in the camera like, are y'all seeing this? Like,
right.
What?
He's like, good morning, little chocolate drop. And it was just like, everybody plays their, because right now I think there's 7 episodes out right now. And I watched all 7 yesterday, but I love this show.
I love that Italian teacher.
Oh yeah.
She'll get you what you need.
Right. Yeah. Because later on they're like, oh wait, was the first episode, was that the rug one?
Yeah. And then they had that one teacher that kicked that kid, and I was like, I dated somebody like her before.
Well, yeah, because so part of the episode was basically, they're the poorest school in the country, and this is an elementary school, so kids sit on rugs. So basically, pee, throw up, whatever, rugs are dirty, so they have to get new rugs. So one of the teachers has a hookup, and then when they brought the rugs, she was like, "Oh, thank you. What was your name?" He's like, "I don't have a name," because he got it illegally. It
fell off a truck,
Right, but every character plays it perfectly. You have Quinta Brunson's character. She's a second-year teacher. There's 2 of them who are second-year teachers. Then you have the older, more seasoned teachers. And then you have this principal where she shouldn't be a principal.
Yeah, she's not qualified for her job.
Yeah, she I ain't gonna spoil how she got the job, but she shouldn't be in that position. And yeah, I love this show. I was like, I'm probably gonna watch it again later on because I love this show so much. Everything about it is great.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then also with the whole Olympic stuff, there's a lot of Yahoo or wherever you get your news from, little clips and things.
There's a lot of controversy with this Olympics.
Really?
Yes, I've learned a lot about the Olympics. Did you know that it's not a rule, it's a tradition that whoever host country hosts the Olympics, their people get an automatic bid in the games?
I don't follow. What do you mean?
So normally, you have to qualify, win events to make the Olympics, right?
Yes.
Right.
But if your country hosts the Olympics, you automatically get a bid for every single sport.
Oh, so you just slot your people in.
Right.
Okay.
But
so now,
can anybody do it then? They get to just pick whichever athletes they want. Is that how that works?
Basically, yes. So now you having like controversies. I don't know if that's the right word, but you have things like, for example, China's hockey team is made up of 95% of white men from America and Canada.
Weird.
Represent Canada, represent China, huh?
Right, because they get an automatic bid, and so they got to fill a squad for this event. Plus, they're getting it from like whatever, like minor league baseball, but whatever that version of hockey is, like that's where they're getting these people from. So like there was controversy with some of the figure skaters, like the ones where like their mother was Chinese, and they renounced their US to represent China. Well, that's different because you actually have roots in China. But now they're actually for the hockey team, it's just dudes. It's just dudes who or just playing for the team because I guess they need a squad, and who wouldn't want to play for the Olympics. So like another thing with that, when you play for the Chinese team, you have to change your name for not I don't know if it's legally, but like you have to change your name to, like, there's a guy named Jeremy Smith that plays on the Chinese national team. His name on the squad it's Jeremy. It's like J-I space M, like they break it down so it's a Chinese name now.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's where in the controversy is just like people saying, hey, you lived in the United States all your life, and now for the Olympics you want to play for China.
They got them checks.
Yeah. Well, whatever it takes to win, maybe.
I guess so, but it's kind of like, well, for them, the figure skaters, they had to renounce their U.S. citizenship, so they're not U.S. citizen anymore. There's controversies with the hockey team because they didn't say yes, they didn't say no. So basically, they're like, well, we're not really supposed to talk about that. Meaning, all right, we didn't really have to renounce our U.S. citizens to play for this China team.
Are they winning?
So that's what I'm gonna bring up next. So they played the U.S. What do you think the score was?
Oh man, it's hockey, so it's low. It should be low like soccer. So I'm guessing like 3-2.
5-3.
The U.S. won 8-0.
God damn.
So it didn't really pan out for them on that end. But another thing I was able to watch was I watched episode 3 of Star Wars. So now I've watched 1, 2, and 3, and I'm on my road to watch all of the stuff in order.
I guess a quick primer. So when Matt and I worked together, there are a few things that he's never done. So at one point he's like, I never read Harry Potter. So we ended up reading that together. Well, I read it before, but he read it for the first time. And then he's like, hey, I want to get into Star Wars. And I was like, oh yeah, only watch 4 through 6. That's all you need. And so he did. And so now Matt wants to watch all of them.
Well, the reason why I want to watch all of them, because I want to watch the TV shows. I want to watch The Mandalorian, and I want to watch because Sasha Banks. Fett. You know who Sasha Banks is?
Yeah, she's a wrestler.
Yeah, but she's in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So, and also I want to watch Boba Fett. So I'm like, all right, well then I guess I need to watch all the other movies. So I've been started watching it, and okay, let's break this down. Episode 1, good. I liked it. It was fine for what it was. I liked it. Episode 2 starts to go off the rails a little bit because Anakin tells Natalie Portman, I killed all these sand people, men, women, and children. And she's just like, that's a human emotion. And
let's
then
out.
She's right. And then they still stay together and everything. And I'm like, wait a minute, didn't you just hear what she? And at the time she was a senator too. So I'm just like, these are the people we have in the Senate that it got crazy. So then episode 3, he kills all the younglings.
Yeah.
Then he chokes her while she's pregnant.
Yeah.
After everything that he's did, the thing that made me mad the worst, or in my mind was like, he's a bad guy, is when he choked her while she was pregnant.
That's bad.
Yeah, right. with his babies. With his babies.
Yeah. And also the Jedis, I wouldn't want to be a Jedi. Mm-hmm. A Jedi is supposed to have no compassion, no emotions, lead blindly, follow directions. So like, I don't know if there's a middle between a Jedi and the dark side, because the dark side, they go too crazy. But if there was a middle, something in the middle, that's where you need to be at.
So there's a lot of really good discussion about the Jedi as portrayed in the prequels. And it's kind of talked about like in the books, but I haven't really read those. But like, it's talked about how like the Jedi actually, by the time we get to like episodes 1 through 3, they lost their way because they became like tools of the government. And
right.
They weren't really supposed to be that. Like, if you actually look at the stuff that's set like thousands of years before that, like they are just a third party. Like, hey, we'll come in, we'll mediate some stuff. We don't work for anybody specifically. Like, if y'all over here fucking up, we're gonna straighten that shit up. If y'all over here fucking up, we're gonna straighten that up. But we're not on like one side. And like things got really fucking blurry by the time we enter episode 1.
And then my last 2 things I would say about episode 1 to 3 is I didn't like how all these old Jedis are doing flips and shit and everything like that. I'm like, you walk like Yoda, for example, he walking with a cane, but all of a sudden when it's time to fight, he can do flip, jump off stuff and everything else like that. And Jedi are trash. How are you supposed to be Jedis? You guys are supposed to be the best of the best. But then when they call, was it Code 66 or they kill him and
overwhelming force, man. Overwhelming force.
Oh, man, yeah, you're supposed to be Jedi. Aren't I supposed to sense that?
Well, that's the thing. Like the dark side, right? It was clouded. He was clouding all their judgment.
Yeah, all of them. So they all get killed.
Yeah.
And the last thing I will say is, so the first time you watched episode 3, then what was your thoughts when they showed Anakin in the fire and the body and everything else like that? Were you I know from the 4 through 6, about being a machine, but I never knew how he became like that. So the first time you saw him like be deformed and everything, get his limbs cut off, what was your thoughts? Were you like, oh, that's how they did it? Were you surprised, shocked, or anything?
No, because like I didn't see them when they came out because of how old I am, but like I saw 4 through 6 first. And so like I saw 1 through 3 in the theater. So like I knew generally what was going to happen.
And then I thought it was cool about how, when they fixed him, they put his little hat on and everything. He rose up and he started breathing. But the very last scene I laughed at because,
no,
they show him building
Death Star.
The Death Star. And I was like, that doesn't end well for you. Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts, Francis?
I think I might have watched one Star Wars movie, the one that came out in maybe 1977.
Okay, the very first one.
I think so. I think I watched that one, and I think I was just obsessed with getting my hair like Princess Leia's, and I think
those
that's
buns.
the only. I think that's the only thoughts I've ever had about Star Wars.
That's fair.
So I was the same way. Now since I've seen 1 through 6, they're cool.
Yeah, you've seen the new ones.
I've seen parts of the new ones.
Okay.
I haven't seen like Solo. I've seen parts.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant 7 through 9.
Well, I've seen parts of it. I've seen like the one with the black sky trooper. No, that's not right. Stormtrooper. I've seen parts of it. So I'm gonna go follow through. I'm gonna watch the movie, not the TV show. The movie next is the Clone Wars is next.
Oh, wait, you're gonna watch that?
That's what on my list says I should watch it in this order.
Clone Wars. If you're doing it properly, you shouldn't have watched episode 3 yet.
Oh, because I should have watched Clone Wars before 3.
Yeah, because the Clone Wars TV show ends when episode 3 starts.
No, not the TV show, the movie.
No, that's the pilot for the TV show.
So the pilot of the TV show is a movie.
Yeah, it released in theaters. Like the first 2 or 3 episodes they put in theaters, but it's just the first couple episodes of the show.
Well, the list I found said I should watch that. Well, if not, then I'm gonna just skip the Han Solo then, and we're gonna keep it moving.
It's a once it doesn't matter until you get to Mandalorian, where they start acknowledging like those TV shows.
Oh, it's okay. Because I was gonna watch a TV show, but I know how long that was, and I was I'm not doing all that. But yeah, it's cool. But I guess like if I would have watched this when I was a kid, when this first came out, maybe I would have like that fandom for it. Like me watching it now, I'm like, it's cool little movie. I'm already on this train, so I'm gonna continue this Star Wars train and see where it leads me. As of right now,
in a couple of weeks.
Right. I'm not on the Star Wars bandwagon. I will drop this right now if I wanted to. So I'm not on the fandom, but it's okay. I'm going down this journey.
Respect.
But yeah, Chad, so what you been up to?
Yeah, I genuinely don't have a lot this week. So I took that trip a couple of weeks ago, and I was joking with my friends. I was like, yeah, I know what I should do. I should buy some of those Airpods Maxes from Amazon for my trip, so I can be flexing on these people as I get on my Southwest flight, just joking around. But I didn't do it because everybody's like, that's stupid, Chad. So what I do when I come back, I bought some Airpods Max. So I got them Sunday, and I worn them every day during work, and like the battery's incredible. Like it lasted 3.5 days. Like it lasted until Thursday on a full charge on Monday. The sound is absolutely amazing. The soundproofing is like next level. I got AirPods Pros that have the soundproofing and stuff, and they're good. But these, I'm wearing them right now. They're really good headphones.
Oh, they look nice.
So basically, Apple, send us some free stuff. All right.
Please send us some free stuff, Apple. We've already given you enough money. Like, help us out. We will. Apple and Lego, we will promote you until we die. Okay.
Yes. Unfortunately, Apple probably won't do it because every Apple lover just doesn't even care. Whatever Apple sends out, they don't even look. They just buy. Right?
Yeah.
Do you think? Like,
no,
just
it's 100%. Like, can't speak for you, Francis, but Matt and I, we're on Mac computers right now.
Oh,
we
me
have
too.
iPhones. Oh, so see,
everything is Apple. Everything's Apple. I don't even do the reviews or anything. If it's a new iPhone, I buy it.
Yeah, as one should. All right. So this week we discuss a simple favor.
A few weeks ago, I met Emily, this wonderful, elegant person. Our sons brought us together, actually.
Come here, little dude.
Can me and Miles have a play date today?
Your drink? Does your kid drink? Maybe? I mean, it's never too early to start teaching
I
them.
think you're joking, but great.
She's an enigma, my wife. You can get closer, you can never quite reach her. She's like a beautiful ghost.
Did you just take my picture?
Erase it. I guess I'm probably not the kind of person you're normally friends with.
Oh, you do not want to be friends with me. Trust me.
Stephanie, I need your help.
Are you okay?
I'm fine, but I do need just a simple favor. Can you come over?
Yeah. 5 days ago, Emily went missing.
I warn you, you go poking around in her past, you're gonna find something that is terrifying. She was not a normal person like you or me. I've never seen such a beautiful girl want to be so invisible.
I smell her, Sean. I smell her perfume like a ghost.
Yeah, it's just you being paranoid.
I saw my mom. She told me to say hi to Stephanie.
Stephanie is a single mother with a parenting vlog who befriends Emily, a secretive upper-class woman who has a child at the same elementary school. When Emily goes missing, Stephanie takes it upon herself to investigate. Francis, what did you think of this movie?
I love this movie. It kind of even inspired me. I was like, I want to meet an Emily. I used to know Emily's. Now we've all become Stephanie's. And well, this movie overall, I loved it because it had a lot of humor in the movie. It had a lot of suspense. It didn't take itself too seriously. And it had a lot of twists and turns. And it keeps you guessing the whole movie. And I thought it was really classy. I really enjoyed the French stuff in it,
Yeah,
the
soundtrack
sophisticated.
especially.
Yeah, I really loved this movie. I approve of this movie. I would say everybody should go out and watch it. And if you like Gone Girl, this movie had some aspects that were similar to Gone Girl. The feel of it was similar in certain ways, but it's maybe a little bit less serious than Gone Girl.
Yeah.
It actually, and as I saw somebody else mention this too, it has a little bit of similarities to this American Tragedy movie remake, or not remake, but adaptation called A Place in the Sun. It's kind of with Elizabeth Taylor and Montgomery Clift.
Oh, you mean Sunset Boulevard?
No, A Place in the Sun. It's a Theodore Dreiser adaptation. Anyway, it had that kind of or some similarities to that as well.
Okay.
And I just really loved this movie. I thought Blake Lively did a great job. I
Yes.
thought,
Anna Kendrick.
yeah, she was really good. I loved her character. She kind of played a little bit of a they both seemed a little psychotic.
Yeah.
And her character evolves through the movie, which I really liked. Actually, both of what you initially see is not what you get by the end of the movie.
Correct.
Yeah.
Matt, what'd you think of this movie?
I thought it was good. But before I tell you what detail wise, once the movie was over, Did you look anything up?
You're talking to Francis, right?
Did I look anything up?
I'm talking to both of you.
Well, I look stuff up.
Well, the reason I say that is because once they look it up, once it ends, it gives you an update on these people, right?
Right.
So I was like, hold up, is this a real? Did this really happen? So that I had to look it up to see if this really happened. And at first, like, I couldn't find out if it's really happened, but long story short, it didn't really happen. But the way they like updated you about, oh, this person's doing this person's doing that, and it gives a feel that this is a true story.
Right.
I mean, it is a book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I read about the book is that they had the screenplay written, and then the book came out after the screenplay was while they were working. So it was kind of like reverse order. I think they wanted they wanted to have like a bestseller out to help sell the movie, I think.
It's kind of like what was that? The Help. I think that was manufactured as well.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
I believe so.
But yeah, I enjoyed this movie. It has a lot of twists and turns. I think this is one of the first times I've seen Anna Kendrick as like serious and not, lighthearted stuff or whatever. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like the twists and turns because for the longest time, I thought Stephanie did it. But I was like, in my mind, I'm like, wait, how did she get to Michigan? I'm trying to figure this stuff out and everything. I'm like, but for the longest time, I thought she did it. The only thing once I was watching it, I didn't like was a part where they team up and they go after the husband. And I'm like, what the husband do? He had nothing to do with this. This is all Emily. And then it turns out like, then later on, they went from side to side. It was like, okay, it's this person versus this person, and these two people join up. Right. Then it was these people joined up, and I was like, all right. And the way, I'm not gonna say underwhelmed the way it ended, but I like the progression of Stephanie. Let me think how I want to say this. She kept saying that they were best friends. And maybe because this is a movie, so they couldn't show all the times they hung out. But I'm like,
they couldn't have been best friends. They couldn't.
Right. That's what I kept thinking. I'm like, you guys hung out like twice. How are you guys best friends? That's what I kept thinking throughout the movie.
She was projecting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was thinking to herself, this is the lifestyle that I want. I want this person to be my best friend because then I can feel just like that. Like I could feel like I'm that person. And when I was watching this movie, I thought there was a good possibility that Stephanie, one of the characters didn't exist, and that was just a figment of somebody's imagination. Because I've seen other movies like I think The Uninvited or something like that. There was a movie that I saw that it was a figment of the imagination. That happens.
Well, with The Uninvited, if I'm remembering right, that person existed, but they were dead.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because I kind of forgot, but I know there's movies out there that
wasn't it The Secret Window with Johnny Depp was like that.
Oh, might
yeah,
be.
that was one too.
Yeah, somebody didn't exist. Yeah,
because this is the thing. I thought that the way Stephanie acted was so psychotic that because going through a dead woman's closet and starting to put on all of her clothes, that just seems very strange to me. And I thought, wow, I wonder if this is one person that they're showing, and you have like, how you have like the angel on one side of your shoulder and you have the devil on the other side. I was thinking maybe it's one person and there's two facets to their personalities. There's the angelic facet, which would be Stephanie, and then there's the devilish facet that would be Emily. So I was thinking that might be what's going on in this movie, but boy, was I wrong.
So I like this movie a lot. Like I've seen this a couple of years ago, and this and a movie called Bad Times at the El Corral or something like that. It's got Chris Hemsworth in it. Like two really good movies that people slept on when they came out. And at some point we will do Bad Times because that's a hell of a fucking movie with an incredible cast. But I love this movie. I love the twists and turns. Like the first time I saw it, I'm like, wait, is it Stephanie? Is it Emily? Is it Sean? Like, did I do it? Am I the villain here? Like, it's just like so many twists and turns. And it's just like Anna Kendrick can play that meekish, quiet girl so fucking well. Like she can just effortlessly do that. And like I love that scene at the end when she pulls the gun on them and Emily and Sean start arguing. And Anna Kendrick's like, I'm sorry, am I not the one here with a gun? Like, come on now. But I love this movie. I love the fucking detective. I forgot how funny he was.
Oh yeah.
I love this movie. I do kind of wish that they would have had the actresses switch roles so that they could play against type. Because we've seen Blake, if you've seen Gossip Girl, you've seen Blake Lively do this. And like I said, Anna Kendrick can do this kind of role in her sleep, you know?
Well, the problem though is that Anna Kendrick doesn't look maybe sophisticated enough.
I mean, I feel like she mate. I can't argue right now.
Well, because Blake Lively looks
point.
She looks like a supermodel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I get your point.
You know, I mix up Anna Kendrick with
who?
Alison Brie.
Oh God! All right. How can you mix her up with our girl? That's our girl, man.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, because I was looking up her
IMDb
Anna Kendrick stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, I thought she was in
Community.
I was like, oh wait, that wasn't that person. So I looked up Community, Alison Brie. Okay, there we go.
Right.
My bad. But no, I was looking up because when you guys were talking about how she plays, Anna Kendrick plays like that
meek character,
meek, bland, or whatever word you want to use type of character. I was like, yeah, she plays that perfectly.
Pitch Perfect.
Yeah,
and that's not me making a pun. I'm saying the movie.
Right,
it's an actual movie.
Right. So, and also one thing that always stuck out to me is they need to discipline they son better.
Boy, that boy.
Right. I was like, the way he was cursing and yelling at them, I was like, we don't do that kind of stuff in my household.
Children these days.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, right. Yeah, I really I thought this was awesome. But while I was watching, I was like, dang, if you're hot, you can be all kinds of manipulative, and it goes so well for you.
Yeah,
you can be so, like Blake Lively, she's at her prime, and that character, I was thinking, yeah, in real life, somebody that hot can manipulate the hell out of everybody around them. And so I thought, wow.
And also, even not that hot, or movie world, Emily's a hot one, Stephanie is not. But as long as you have the confidence, because when
that scene when she went to her job,
right? Because Stephanie's attire really didn't change, but she just had the confidence that Emily gave her, and then Stephanie was able to, she told off
the designer,
designer and everything, and she was able to go about it. So, and most stuff is, as long as you have confidence, you can get a long way with just confidence in life, in different situations.
This is a good point for your listeners. Watch this movie, you'll feel more confident by the end of the movie. You'll feel like you want to be an Emily. You'll feel that way. Like, I don't know how you guys felt after watching that, but I was like, I've got to find me an Emily, and I've got to become an Emily.
That's funny,
because I was like, wow, she's like doing all sorts of crazy things, and she's cool, and she's hot, and she's got excellent style, and she listens to beautiful music, and she's got a wonderful wardrobe. I was like, sign me up for being an Emily.
Emily could have got away with it if she just didn't visit her son. Not only visit her son, if she would have just not had the phone call, even if she visited her son, but her giving her the bracelet,
she should have been fucking with her,
right? She shouldn't have been fucking with her, and then even if they would have just blamed her son, grief or whatever, he thinks he saw her, stuff like that. But if she wouldn't have been fucking with her, she would have got away with it.
What do you guys think the Rotten Tomatoes was on this movie?
Is it 80% or something?
When did this movie come out? How long ago?
This movie came out in 2018. Yeah.
I give it probably a high number. Francis said 80. I'll go with 81.
84%.
84%. Okay, you won.
Treat this like Price is Right.
All right. So trivia.
Yeah.
Okay, so the director of this movie, the last big thing he directed was Ghostbusters, but he's also directed things like Bridesmaids. So the question this week is, the director of this movie has directed one of the three main actors in another movie. Which actor was it? A, Anna Kendrick, who played Stephanie, B, Blake Lively, who played Emily, and or C, Henry Golding, who played Sean.
Matt?
I will go with not Sean, so it's either gonna be Anna or Blake. Anna seems kind of too obvious, so let me go with Blake.
I'm gonna go with Anna Kendrick.
The answer is Henry Golding.
Oh.
He re-teamed with Paul Feig in 2019's Last Christmas, co-starring Emilia Clarke of Game of Thrones.
Never heard of it.
It's supposed to be pretty decent. Let me just do this quick trivia dump and then we're out of here. One of the reasons that Blake Lively wanted Emily to wear suits was because she wanted to differentiate her character from the character she played on Gossip Girl, who had like a lot of chic fashion. On screen, the martini Emily drinks calls for gin as opposed to vodka. The bottle shown on screen is aviation gin, because Blake Lively's husband is Ryan Reynolds. The scene where Emily swats Stephanie on her backside with the back of her hand was improvised by Blake Lively. She believed it was appropriate for her character. Anna Kendrick's yelp of pain was surprise and genuine. Anna Kendrick has 39 costume changes in the movie. Her style begins as very bright and happy, but it evolves as she uncovers the secrets around her. Yeah. But yeah, so thank you for coming on, Francis. This was really fun.
I had a great time. Thank you so much for inviting me. I love your podcast and I'm so happy to be here.
Why don't you let the people know, just remind the people about your podcast, where they can find it and all that jazz.
Yeah, well, my podcast is Happy Fangirl. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. What are the other ones?
All the places.
All the places. I just clicked yes, put it on everywhere. So it's Buzzsprout as well, but I don't think anybody goes to Buzzsprout.
When do you drop new episodes?
Every Wednesday in the middle of the night, after midnight.
All right. Thursday morning, check out.
Or actually Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, check out the podcast. Yes. Happy Fangirl.
Thank you again for being on.
Thank you so much. It's nice to meet you, Matt. And it's nice talking to you again, Chad. And
we're gonna
wait, one more thing. I forgot one more thing. You have any social medias you want to handles or anything to put out?
Yeah, and I have to do better job of updating it, but I do have on Instagram, Happy Fangirl Podcast, also on Facebook, and man, I've got to really start updating those. Yes, note to self.
Yeah, we're trying to get better with that too. Yeah, like Matt does a great job every week of putting the reminder out there, like, hey, we got a new episode. But we've also been like trying to get some more eyes on the show by like posting clips. So
that's a good idea. And I have been trying to get the hang of it. I know Instagram doesn't really like when you have still clips, and I don't use the video of my podcast, but but yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate, like, and review our podcast on your platform of choice. And we're specifically talking about Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So please do that right now. If you have any feedback, please email us at weusedtotalkpod@gmail.com. Like our Facebook page. We used to talk about this at work. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok at We Used to Talk Pod. Come back next week when our cousin Josh returns for Spectre.
And like always, I don't know if this was a good episode. I don't know if this was a bad episode, but whatever you think about it, talk about it at work. Thank you for listening.